New Syracuse head coach Fran Brown had a dynamite introductory press conference where he shared his vision for the future of the football program. He's looking to bring Syracuse back to national prominence. Syracuse Hoops looks to bounce back from a tough road loss to Duke. It's an important week for the Orange with two conference matchups on tap, starting with Boston College. Christmas came early for Syracuse as Ohio State transfer quarterback Kyle McCord announced his commitment to the Orange this week. McCord is coming off a season where he helped guide the Buckeyes to an 11-1 record, with the one loss being to Michigan, who's the #1 team in the country right now. He's a former composite 5-star prospect from the 2021 cycle. I do expect to see some man-to-man defense, getting an athlete like Donnie Freeman, who can really be versatile in any of those defenses. I think he's going to be a huge help. Syracuse could use all the help on the boards they could get, and I think he's certainly going to fit that role. 6'9", long, athletic, going to be a big asset for the Orange on the defensive end. Syracuse basketball has put an end to a difficult 2-game losing streak after a 94-92 win over Louisville. Now, two huge tests are on the horizon as Clemson and North Carolina are the next foes en route to the JMA Wireless Dome. Syracuse will have to carry on without Benny Williams, who was dismissed from the team earlier this week. Syracuse has put together quite the impressive transfer class, and the top group among that class has to be the defensive linemen. This was a position of need for Syracuse, and Fran Brown and his staff clearly addressed it in the portal. Captain Marlowe Wax set the tone from the jump for this Syracuse defense. He was all over the field. Dino Babers said Wax was named the defensive MVP of the game for the Orange. The college basketball season is fast approaching, and we will see the beginning of a new era for Syracuse basketball under first-year head coach Adrian Autry. Autry has a talented and athletic group. Syracuse has been on a recruiting hot streak since Fran Brown took over as head coach. Not surprisingly, a lot of the firepower for this incoming class comes from the state of New Jersey. Syracuse has 10 total commits from the Garden State, which makes up half of its 2024 high school recruiting class. Syracuse football looks to get out to a 3-0 start this season. To accomplish that feat, the Orange will have to handle business on the road against Purdue. Last year's iteration of this contest was an absolute barn burner, ending with a game-winning touchdown pass from Garrett Schrader to Aronde Gadsden. Purdue does not return a lot of its offensive firepower from last season as Aiden O'Connell, Charlie Jones, and Payne Durham were all drafted. Syracuse basketball welcomed the newest members of its 2024 recruiting class as Donnie Freeman and Elijah Moore officially signed their national letters of intent. This is a classic thunder and lightning 1-2 punch scenario. With National Signing Day in the books, Syracuse brings in a historic 2024 recruiting class. Fran Brown and company wasted no time, landing 12 new commits since December and retaining 10 recruits who previously committed to the Orange. This is certainly a well-balanced class. Looking at the offensive side of the ball, Syracuse brings in its quarterback of the future in Jakari Williams. He is surrounded by a handful of playmakers, headlined by Jamie Tremble, who has soared up to a 93 rating on 24/7 Sports. Syracuse football looks to bounce back from the first loss of the season, but the road does not get any easier as they face 14th ranked North Carolina. The Tar Heels are 4-0, led by reigning ACC Player of the Year Drake May. Captain Justin Barron has been a standout on the Syracuse defense over the first 7 games of the season. He's been huge at that rover position, which is a key piece of Syracuse's 3-3-5 scheme. If you don't believe me, just check out the numbers. Barron leads the Orange in tackles with 55, which is especially impressive as a defensive back. Syracuse basketball is riding a 3-game win streak, and a player who has come on strong lately is Quadir Copeland. The sophomore has been a spark plug for the Orange, especially over the last 2 games. He plays with a ton of intensity, has a high motor, and pushes the tempo. Syracuse Hoops was stopped in its tracks against Florida State and handed its first loss in the JMA Wireless Dome this season. Now, the team looks to regroup as a very solid NC State squad comes to town this Saturday. The Wolfpack are one of the better teams in the ACC, led by senior guard DJ Horn. While Syracuse has built an impressive 2024 recruiting class, let's not forget about the remarkable incoming transfer class. This is far and away the best transfer class for Syracuse in recent memory, highlighted by former Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord. Many other transfers are coming in from prominent programs including Georgia, LSU, and Texas A&M. Syracuse is coming off a rather disappointing performance against Boston College. The team showed some resilience with that second half push, but came up short with too many defensive mistakes, paired with the poor performance at the charity stripe. Up next, a road trip to Winston-Salem to take on Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons are another team that is hungry to make a charge in February. Linebacker Leon Lowry has been one of the breakout stars of the Syracuse defense so far this season. The redshirt sophomore has made his presence felt, leading the team in sacks with 2.5. Dino Babers said Lowry transformed his body over the offseason, and the hard work appears to be paying off as he has earned a starting linebacker spot.